goals would be the main purpose. What are you attempting to achieve? Okay. And then your objectives are how you reach that goal. Okay. Let's see here. Let's get into it. And I have added to the acronymous key, this acronymous kind of concept, with SMART being specific, M being measurable, A attainable and achievable, R being relevant, and T being timely. I have added E and R. I am a firm proponent, and this is trademarked work, that they should be smarter. Your goals should be smarter. The final E and R, we'll get into that as we first handle these, okay? Here we go. Specific. So we know what that word means, but you need to answer questions like, what do you want to achieve? Who needs to be involved to accomplish this goal? When do you want to have your goal finished? Why should you achieve this goal exactly? It gives you your why, if you will. Sometimes we set out to do things and we don't really have a clear vision or a clear mission. This is part of that, the specification. And this is my why, okay? And then you go to M, measurable. How can you measure progress and know if you successfully met your goal? The measurability of any goal should be inherent in your objectives as well. So it works both ways. So you'll have top level progress measured by, of course, completing that specific goal. But then as you go through your objectives, like for instance, there are about 3 or 4 steps in the process of obtaining a charitable solicitation license for a nonprofit. Okay. First, sign up for a user account with the North Carolina Secretary of State. Second, research charitable solicitation licensure. You know me, I would add, and I would hope that you would add, number 3, read North Carolina General Statutes chapter that relates to the Charitable Solicitation Act. Number 4, download forms relevant to the license application. Number 5, submit an application, something to that effect, okay? And in checking those off, you are measuring your progress. And when you get to the final one, which it should be the submitting of the application itself, once you get that returned and it is approved, that is measured. That goal has been achieved. You have made progress. You are now legitimately organized as a nonprofit and can legitimately pursue solicitation of monetary contributions without there being any type of criminal or civil liability. All right. So A, attainable or achievable. Are you capable of achieving the goal? Do you have the needed skills? If you haven't, how can you build them? A lot of this we kind of touched upon with regards to determining your line of business, if you remember. So determining whether or not they're achievable can oftentimes keep you from reaching toward goals that may take greater work than you set out to do. Or that can be the part of your operations that maybe you can outsource to a third party. For instance, the animation that I intend to have as part of my advertising this year, I am not an animator. And when looking into the scope of that work, yes, I may be talented in so many different ways, but that is just not my gift. And so that would be something I would outsource because it's not really achievable for me. It really isn't. And can I build that skill set? Yeah, but is it going to be, we're going to go down to time? Is it going to be time? Is it going to be smart time-wise? Is it going to take too much away from me focusing on the things that I do excel at and I can get done very quickly? Is it worth me, trying to undertake this new skill and do the work myself? Maybe next year, if I don't find an animator, depending on just my individual strategic implementation plan for mayor, and for the expansion of my business, maybe it's not appropriate right now. And maybe it will be something that you can add, in the future. Keep in mind, you can have innumerable strategic implementation plans. I have a SIP for, nearly every high-level goal that I want to achieve, okay? All right, so then you go to R, relevant. Is the goal worthwhile? And will it meet your needs? Is each goal consistent with the other goals you have established and fits with your immediate and long-term plans? And this is what we were kind of touching upon as well. Why would you undertake anything that is a waste of your time? And a waste of your time is also that which is not relevant. You need to make sure that also this relevance comes into play with the scope and the branding and identity of your business. So if you are a mechanic shop, oftentimes, when we excel at maybe doing two things, some individuals have great difficulty finding ways to cross-market those lines of business. And it becomes this display of lack of relevance. So maybe they're a barber and they're a mechanic, and they start advertising, the mechanic services alongside of their barber services. I'm a firm proponent against that. Even though I am holistically for cross-marketing, it needs to be relevant cross-marketing. Just like you need to have relevant goals. And people want to get at you in the regard that they have interest. So they may not be interested in your barber services, but they may be interested in your mechanic services, and vice versa. And if you inundate them with way too much information, especially the information that's just kind of conflicting, it's like, okay, well, what do you do? And then it's like, oh, they just kind of lose interest. Everybody does that. Even me, it's like, oh, okay, you have a restaurant, and then you say, okay, you have the mechanic shop. You have to advertise those separately. You have to organize your SMART goals separately for those avenues or those lines of business, and ensure that there is relevance as you proceed with your goals, and reach toward your market base. Okay. T, timely. We all know what that means. We need to make sure it is timely. Oftentimes, I am working with individuals who have done fairly well with their businesses. However, they fail where time is concerned. They're investing way too much time. They're spending 12 to 14 hours in their business on a daily basis. That is not sustainable. It's not sustainable for holistic health. It's not sustainable if your business requires that much time of you. Maybe that time is away from actually growing your business. And that can definitely translate into stagnation in your business. If you're putting all of your time into operating your business, then you're going to have very little time to actually focus on growing and evolving your business. Now, with the timely goal, of course, you want them to be timely. If you are a nonprofit and you wish to begin soliciting contributions, and you've begun on a calendar year, so here you are in January, it is not timely to set a goal of getting your charitable solicitation license 6 months later. And it's not smart altogether to begin soliciting donations, monetary donations during this time. You need to timely set a goal. 2 weeks. And 2 weeks is, for me, that's just way too much time when you're talking about very, very basal and simple task as the application for your charitable solicitation license. But to each his own. I want you to be realistic. As it says, you're going to be realistic and relevant. So